What are you doing? It doesn't make sense. You're sabotaging yourself.
I don't get it either. I have no idea. I feel horrible for Allen Robinson. I feel horrible for David Montgomery. It's awful.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Let's talk Bears, because that one's a little more interesting.
Right. Allen Robinson, David Montgomery are your two assets that you would want, but they were two absolute busts in week number 3. Allen Robinson, man, like, it just kills me. It's so bad that not even the great Allen Robinson can overcome. And Allen Robinson has overcome some bad situations, boy. But man,
this is as bad as it gets.
This is as bad as it gets. It's the worst he's ever seen in his career.
Justin Fields had a miserable debut, and I don't actually put much of this on Justin Fields. I almost want to put this 95% on the coaching staff. Not only because of what they did leading into the season,
right,
never even opening it up to the possibility that Justin Fields could be the starter. And look, there are clearly some developmental things that need to take place with Justin Fields. He's not a perfect prospect right this second, but you should have at least opened it up to the possibility that he could survive in this offense more than Andy Dalton. Because the Bears are dead in the water with Andy Dalton, just like we said the Steelers are dead in the water with Ben Roethlisberger, because their offensive line stinks. Going into the week, I was like, oh, you can just start Justin Fields because he's going to run. He's scrambling on 16% of his dropbacks, including the preseason. He's throwing it deep. You can just start Justin Fields because he's a rushing quarterback. But I did not give enough credence to the fact, I've watched that offensive line play. I've watched Myles Garrett play. I think he's going to whoop some ass. And that's exactly what happened. Justin Fields was hit 8 or 13 times. He was pressured on over 50% of his dropbacks. He averaged 2.8 yards per attempt when under pressure. Sacked 9 times. He completed 6 passes. He was sacked 9 times. That's as bad as it gets. Myles Garrett himself had 4.5 sacks. He said after the game, he couldn't believe that the Bears never got Justin Fields on the move, that they just dropped him back when they knew that they couldn't pass protect for him. What are we doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Matt Nagy, and what I tweeted out earlier today, Matt Nagy's he's being self-destructive. Again, to your point, you don't give him any first-team reps in the preseason. At the very least, you got to split them up, right? I get it. You want to get both guys kind of prepared, Okay, you want to go with Andy Dalton. First of all, no one agrees that you should go with Andy Dalton. But, okay, let's say you want to go – no one. But let's say you want to go the veteran, okay, and you're like, all right, let's – I got a good defense. I got a good running back. Maybe we can kind of just piece it together until Justin Fields is ready, and we'll just go through the first 3 or 4 games. Also, I don't want to kill my young quarterback playing the Rams week 1. Fine. Okay, but you got to split those reps up, right? Didn't split them up. And then on top of that, you don't change the game plan. You had one of the historically worst offensive outputs in NFL history. I think they averaged 1.1 yards per play, which is again, I think they went back. I think I saw this on Twitter. They went back and it had never been that bad, ever. Historically bad, we're talking about in this game. And what do? You don't go back to the drawing board and say, man, you know what? I really fucked up. I need to go and change this up. Obviously, we came in completely unprepared, bad game plan. No. You are saying now we're thinking about starting Nick Foles.
Yeah.
It's like Matt Nagy wants to be fired.
I know.
That's what's crazy. You would do this if you're trying to lose your job. That's what's so nuts about this whole situation.
So bad.
You're one of 32 people that have an NFL head coaching gig. What are you doing? Hey, listen, we really appreciate you guys watching this video. We really do. But if I could, I just want to take a little bit of time to talk about our great sponsor, OddsJam.
OddsJam is the home of real-time sports odds, allowing you to shop and get the best possible odds.
Let's say you love the Packers money line. Well, FanDuel's got them at minus 650, whereas BetOnline and Ballybet has them at minus 550. It's the exact same bet, but significantly better odds at Ballybet and at Bet Online.
OddsJam also has a ton of betting tools like arbitrage, positive expected value bets. In other words, mathematically profitable wagers and a sharp betting community.
If you want to make money sports betting, this right here is the company for you.
They even have line discrepancies where you can make truly risk-free money using something called arbitrage in sports betting.
Learn about it. Live it. Love it. Check them out right now. Go to the website oddsjam.com.
I'm willing to give it one more week.
Go? You're giving it one more go? No, don't do it.
One more week before like pulling the shoot on David Montgomery and Allen Robinson. Dude. I mean, sure, don't start Allen Robinson in week 4, but they're playing the Lions, dude. They're playing the Lions, man. They're playing the Lions. Like, I'm willing to hold out hope one more week before like fully pressing the panic button. Because if they go out there and do the same thing that they did, I mean, there's no hope. There's no hope.
The reason I'm saying don't do it is because there's just nothing. If like they threw it, let's say they threw it 40 times, and even if Fields was just like he's 10 for 40, I could at least tell myself a story where, okay, well, they're at least gonna try to keep it up. Like Big Ben, he threw it 58 damn times. Right? Like, at the very least, it's like, all right, well, the Steelers, they're down, but at least they're going to try. Yeah. Right? Like, the Bears weren't even they weren't even trying.
I don't know how you can go in with that game plan. With Justin Fields,
you're getting murdered out there, and you're down big in this game. You haven't scored any points, and you throw the ball 20 times. Like, I don't. What is?
Well, they
what
couldn't.
Is there to
they
do?
couldn't possess a. They couldn't like mount a drive because they're getting sacked left and right. At that point, you can just press up on as a cornerback. You can just press up on these guys and run the routes for them because there's nothing that like that ball's not coming out. No. I don't know, man. I mean, if you're a Bears fan too, sorry, but if you're a Bears fan, you got to just now be on like high alert. That you don't want them to ruin Justin Fields. Like you don't want them to screw him up the rest of his career because they're going to have him get hit 13 times, get sacked 9 times. Again, they're going to be brighter. This was like the worst possible moment. And it does kind of maybe bring the conspiracy theory that like they really just wanted to sacrifice Andy Dalton to the Wolves the first 3 weeks.
Right.
Again.
Yes.
And then just throw it out. Like then they'll throw Fields out against the Lions, which is stupid and like reductive thinking anyways. But man, I don't know. I'm definitely, obviously it would be impossible not to be nervous for Allen Robinson and David Montgomery after this.
6 targets, 2 receptions, 27 yards. By the way, like again, another player we all want to be a thing. We all want Darnell Mooney.
It's not a thing. Yeah.
Forget it. He's in the dirt. Listen, with Matt Nagy there, he is in the dirt. Like, if Matt Nagy gets let go, okay, let's resurrect Darnell Mooney. But so long as Matt Nagy is there, he's in the dirt. He had 4 targets, 1 catch for 9 yards. Yeah, go ahead.
One last statement on this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, this right here is why we got to get rid of the franchise tag, because Allen Robinson wanted out. He didn't want to do this one more year, and then they made him do it because of the franchise tag. This is why we got to get rid of the franchise tag in the NFL.
Players union is the worst union. Like the number one thing you got to do is get rid of the franchise tag. Like that's the number one thing. Like you're not letting stars be stars.